Now, when you think of routine maintenance, you think of things like oil change, spark plugs, brake pads, things like that that are either common or you do quite a bit of. Now, one thing that you don't actually think about that's pretty important is changing out your brake fluid. And that's what we're going to be doing today, so stick around. Hey guys, what's up? Bryan here. Thanks for tuning in today. Hopefully everybody's out there doing okay, hunkered down, getting through this whole coronavirus thing that we've got going on. Today we're actually going to be getting out there. We're going to be changing out the brake fluid, replacing all of it in the whole system. And the manual states that this is something that you should be doing every 2 years. Now the manual also states that you should be replacing all of your brake lines every 4 years as well. So, take that kind of with a grain of salt. But to me, changing out the brake fluid is a lot more important than actually changing out your lines and things like that, as long as everything in that system actually looks okay. And a lot of times, with a lot of these steel braided lines and things like that, you're going to be able to run these things for a lot longer than what this manual is actually going to state. Now, when it comes to brake fluid, you've got many different kinds, but a lot of times from brand to brand, there's not going to be a whole lot of difference. The main thing that you do want to watch out for is if your bike requires like a .3, .4, .5, whatever. And our bike actually requires a .4. So that's what we're going to be using today. I'm actually going to be going with a Motul, and I'll leave a link down below to that, as well as the bleeder system that we're going to be using today. Now, when you actually go to purchase brake fluid, you don't want to buy in bulk. You don't want to buy a whole bunch of it, because once you open this stuff, it actually does degrade. Brake fluid is actually what they call hygroscopic, and that means that it actually absorbs water from the air. And once it does that, the fluid is actually compromised, and it lowers the boiling point, and the fluid is just actually no good anymore. So when you do go to buy this, buy just what you need. Maybe just a little bit more just in case you have overflow or something happens. But really, the stuff isn't going to be good much past a year after opening it. Now, there are a couple different ways that you can go about bleeding the brakes as well. You can go with the old school method where you actually pump up the brake, crack the bleeder, close it, let go, pump up the brake, all the way until you get all the air out of the line. But what we're going to be using today is actually a vacuum system. Now, one drawback to the system is that it does require a pretty decent air compressor to run. You could probably get by with a little pancake compressor, but odds are you're going to be a whole lot better off if you got something that's, 5, 10 gallons or something even bigger than that. Now, like I said, I'll be leaving links to everything that I use today in the video description below, so be sure to check those out. Now guys, let's go ahead, let's get out there, and let's bleed this brake system. Alright, now since we're going to be replacing all of the brake fluid, the first thing that you're going to want to do is remove the actual fluid from the reservoir. Now, a few weeks ago, I relocated my rear brake fluid reservoir underneath of my seat. And if you haven't checked out that video, be sure to check it out. I'll leave a link in the top right-hand corner for you. Now, when I did that, I didn't end up filling my brake fluid at the time, and I figured I would just do it all at once whenever I was bleeding everything. So before we actually crack anything open, anything like that, the first thing that we're going to do is top off this reservoir with new fluid. Now you can see that I've already got a few bubbles starting to pop up, so hopefully that's going to clear just a little bit of it out of the line. Now, depending on what method you're doing, if you're using a vacuum bleeder like we will be today, you're actually good to go. But if you're going to be using the old school method of actually pumping up that brake and cracking that bleeder, you might want to go ahead and replace your diaphragm and your cap to make sure that you don't have any fluid spill out over anything else, because this isn't good on paint. Now, one major thing that you do want to do when actually bleeding your brakes is be sure to watch this reservoir very closely. If it actually ends up getting empty, you will have to start over. Now, while it's not necessary, I went ahead and put my bike up on a lift, and that's going to help in a couple different ways. First off, it's going to help to keep that fluid reservoir nice and level, and when we finish, that tire is going to be lifted so we can actually spin it and check our brakes and make sure that everything is working. Now, once you actually topped off your brake fluid reservoir, you're going to come down to the caliper and you're actually going to remove the nipple that's covering your brake bleeder. Now, on our bikes, the bleeder screw is an 8mm, so we're going to take an open box wrench, and the first thing that we're going to do is just crack it. Just barely open it up a little bit, then we're going to close it. And all that's going to do is break that screw free so that hopefully once we get that hose on there to actually start draining the brake fluid out of it, we're not going to be sitting there fighting it. And then once you've done that, you can actually take your hose in, stick it over that bleeder screw, making sure that you get a nice tight connection on it. Now I'm going to use a pair of needle nose pliers when I actually go to screwing and unscrewing this so that I can get in there just a little bit easier. And you want to be very careful with the screw because they do actually strip out pretty easily. Now I've already got my bleeder connected to an air tank, and all you're going to do is pull the trigger on that, and then it's even got a little catch that you can hold it in place, and then you're going to crack your bleeder open. And when you do that, you're going to actually watch your line here, and you're going to see a difference between the old and the new brake fluid. And once you actually see the new fluid start coming through this clear line, you're going to close your bleeder screw. And when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you keep very special attention to that reservoir and make sure that it does not empty or get below any kind of line where it may actually introduce more air into the lines, because that is the whole point of bleeding these brakes, and you will have to start over. So like I said, we're going to engage this vacuum pump, I'm going to crack this bleeder screw, and then we're going to watch the line. Now, one thing you do want to do is make sure that you close off that bleeder screw before you stop any kind of vacuum or anything like that. That way you don't have any way for air to get reintroduced into that line. Then from there, you can go ahead and pull that hose, wipe up any kind of excess, anything like that. And then you'll actually want to tighten this bleeder screw to your actual torque, which is going to be 4.3 foot-pounds. Now once you've done that, you can actually replace your plastic nipple, come back up to your brake reservoir, replace your diaphragm and your cap, make sure they're nice and secure, and then we'll move to the front. Now once we've got that lid on the reservoir replaced, we can actually take it, spin that wheel real quick, hit the brake, and be sure that it's actually going to not only compress and stop that wheel, but actually back off as well whenever it's done. Now when it comes to the front brakes, it is going to be pretty much the same exact process with just a couple of differences. Now first off, we will have to actually remove the brake fluid from our top master reservoir. There are going to be 2 calipers on it. And you have the option with this bleeder to actually do both of them at once or one of them at a time. Now me personally, I'm going to do them both separately. Now that's just my preference. You can actually do both of them at one time if you want. Now when it comes to actually draining the fluid out of this reservoir, there's a couple different ways you can do it. One really quick, easy way is just a turkey baster. You know, grab it, pull out as much fluid as you can. Now the second way, which is the way that we're actually going to do it today, is actually using the bleeder to do it. We're just going to pull off the edge of it, and then we're going to stick the hose down in the bottom of it and suck out all the fluid. Now when it comes to actually doing these front brakes, it may be just a little bit easier to have somebody else helping you out. Not only to watch the level of the fluid in the reservoir, but also to make sure that it's completely level. Like I said, you don't want to have any kind of fluid leak on any paint or anything like that, because it will actually damage it. So we're going to pop off this cap really quick and set that to the side, and then we'll suck out that fluid. And you can see just how dark and actually black that fluid is compared to the new stuff. So like I said, I'm just going to take my hose, actually dip it in there, and suck out all that fluid. Now, like I said, I'm going to do one side at a time, but if you wanted to, you could actually do both. Now, this is actually pretty hard to leave that reservoir level and get a good angle so that you can see the bleeder screw, but it's going to be right on top of your brake caliper, right behind this line, and it's got that rubber nipple on it, hopefully. And we're going to do just the same exact thing that we did with the back. We're going to crack it open, close it, put that hose on it, create the suction, open it, let it drain out till you can see the new fluid coming through, close it, and then release the suction. Now once you finish bleeding everything, you can actually come back up to the top, check your brake fluid level, and then you can actually just replace the lid, and you're set to go. Now any unused brake fluid, you don't necessarily want to keep for too long. I would date it, possibly keep it for a year, just in case you have any kind of fluid loss. But other than that, you should just get rid of it. Guys, thanks for tuning in today. I appreciate you being here. Hopefully this video was able to show you a quick, easy way to get in there, change out that brake fluid, and get the brakes split at the same time. Now next week we're going to be getting in and actually changing out the rear brake pads. I had a video probably about 5 months ago where I actually went out and did the front pads, and if you haven't seen that, be sure to check the link in the top right hand corner for it. Now I'm also going to be choosing a winner for that modded lever contest probably in the next day or so, so be sure to be watching for that as well. Be sure to like and share this video, guys, and if you're not subscribed, hit that button. Other than that, we'll see you next time.